All right, Dow Jones, we see that we had a little bit of follow through yesterday. We had this engulfing pattern that we saw on Friday. So basically, I thought that we would continue, but was very cautious regarding the amount of positions that I put on, just because I've seen a lot of names not really follow through like I really wanted to see them. But overall, we're still above the channel area that we've shown on multiple time frames. This is from the weekly. We even have the monthly that you see. We're in a channel as well. Let me take this off. And you can kind of see that we've just been chopping sideways for months now, regarding in a big picture way. We want to see if we can break and close above this 15,709.58. We've been talking about this for weeks. Go back and look at the videos. You can see that we've been talking about it, pretty much saying if we get a close above that, we can then say that we have broken to the upside and go from there. Am I bearish at all? Not yet. And because the price action hasn't told me that. I mean, you get a small little breakout here, but the engulfing pattern, you didn't have much follow through. You had lower volume, and you see that they're coming right back to test this. So just being cautious. Again, we want to see above this level at least this 15.8 basically, if you want to use a round number, and kind of see some type of follow through go on here. But it just came, broke above, and now will this previous resistance become support? That's what we really have to see. We got the S&P 500 that is pretty much, has to recapture some highs. We had some banking names look a little bit weaker today. We just have to see what's going on. So we just have to see it recapture some highs, and I want to see some type of verification, let's say on a candle or something like that, before I look to just go long per se, or at least take out some highs. Like let's say you see this, at least if it could take out this previous high, I can then continue to get a couple days of action. You got the Russell. Russell's still below these lower highs. You have the lower high here, and didn't break with any real conviction. Let's see what the IWM to give us some type of volume look. The volume is, eh, it's not bad, but it's not good either. We still have the lower highs put in place. Let me just move this over here so we could just make sure we're all on the same page. Now, if it breaks above, you can be aggressive, get above that. Maybe you could look at this previous pivot point to get back in some action. But on the weekly, we see we have a small body. We're still holding 10 days, so it's not a thing. It's just a retracement, And if you start looking at the percentages to say what the percentage is, so far it's really not that much. I mean, these numbers don't look right. Let me see if I'm looking at the right thing here, because I don't want to say it's just a 1% pullback, but I mean, for the past couple days, it hasn't really been. Let me do this one. Let me see if we could get it from the daily and see if we, I just want to make sure I got the right. Yeah, it's pretty much under a percent retracement. So, yeah, we just kind of got to see what's going on and see if it could continue. But overall, in the big picture, if you're looking at the percentage of retracement, it's really not that much. So we just want to see that. We want to look at the composite as well, and we'll look at a couple names in there. And it's just sideways for a little bit. And from the weekly aspect, again, this is just a retracement. Let me see if I can get a little bit better number here. So it's really not much. If you want to look at the kind of, people like to call tops. I don't play that game because it's a sucker's game, quite honestly. So, but if you're looking at the trend, I mean, look at the weekly. You just have it pretty much stepping sideways. We just need some type of volume to the upside, and if it could take out at least this point, or maybe even this point, then we can get back in the swing of things. So now we've looked at the indexes. Let's look at some big names going on here. So we'll start with Apple. Apple is we thought at one point, and this is why I like to see the candles close, or at least the price action closed before I get, because at one point this was fully green and somebody took that trade, and it's still below the 10. And we kind of just, I want to see, excuse me, if this can break above. And I said we want this level to hold if you're bullish, and but you see that you have the lower highs in place, and if it breaks below, let's say this level of 512.38, it could definitely roll and go back to this area as well. So we kind of just have to see what's going on regarding that. Facebook, again, we know that this is a level of support, being that it's the IPO high. We've talked about that for a long time, but I'm not looking to get long just because of that. I need to see something, at least some price action, nice big engulfing pattern that's showing some type of institutional support for this. But right here, right now, you could definitely see the lower highs in place, and it's starting to basically build a channel. If you just create the parallel line, you can see that we kind of have a channel going on to the downside. So we have to see that break and where it's going to go. So I'm not looking to catch a falling knife. That's not the type of trading I look to do at all. So we'll continue to watch this one. One that did well today was actually Pandora. That reached new highs, and you had a little bit of good volume on this as well, increasing. So we just have to see how this is going to look. You see that at the end of the day, you really have, you know, higher lows in place, and you also have, you know, it's an ascending triangle. So basically you're ascending up with your lows and your highs are staying. So you basically want to see this break above. So that's a good sign from the weekly aspect for a name like this, especially on a day like this that a lot of names look pretty weak. You have Monsanto looked really good for a, you know, a bullish engulfing pattern. It looks like it might be looking to maybe cup and handle. If you say this could be the cup, or even this part per se, a big cup, little dip below, and if it could take out these recent highs of 109, I think it's 109.18 and 109.33, that one looks good as well. You have Tesla. That one is back at this prior pivot point, and I said that if people were short, that they needed to not be a pig. But right now you have an engulfing pattern to the, so you could say that this has flagged to the upside, and you know, maybe it's going to continue and break below that. You have a flag right there. If it breaks below this point right here, it definitely has a lot more to go to the downside. So, you know, you just have to, you know, don't fall in love with these things. These are instruments to make you money. Elon Musk is rich. He has great products, but at the end of the day, I'm trading his stock just like anybody. I really like Elon Musk's vision for a lot of his different companies: PayPal, SpaceX, Tesla, Solar City. But that has nothing to do with the way that I trade his company. So you just have to separate the two. You have Google, just been trading really sideways. So, and that's the thing, even if you're day trading, you don't want this. This is hard to trade. You want stuff that's moving. And right here, right now, you know, you see that this might be something that we want to continue higher. The volume is so far, I mean, it's early in the week, so we have to see if this volume dies down even more, and just see if this is just basically consolidating to go back to the upside. You have PRICELINE. Didn't really follow through that much. Again, if you got in here, congratulations. You should be peeling some profits right now. Amazon. Amazon is just, it looks like another flag setting up, quite honestly, and it has a big gap that it has to fill. So we just have to see what the price action looks like tomorrow. The banking sector didn't look that well. I mean, you had some, you know, you had this big day, you had a huge drop on volume, and you have a doji. So we just have to, that doesn't mean that it's going to reverse. It's just something to be aware of. Indecision. You have Wells Fargo right at the 50, and it needs to hold at least, you know, again, another thing that didn't follow through from a big engulfing pattern. And you look at the sector, the XLF, kind of the same deal going on there. You got Citigroup, pretty much same thing, under the 50 now. Who else we got? We got Goldman Sachs. Again, not giving you that follow through that we really were looking for. State Street one I looked at, I got out early in the morning because I rolled my stop about as tight as I could get it because I don't like these candles and I didn't like what the overall indexes were. It's not basically this because I usually don't, if it's really small, I won't roll my, I'll look at a, a intraday time frame. And this one just rolled right back over. Johnson & Johnson, again, was something I put really tight stop on and got stopped out in the morning. I am still in 3D, and that one is still paying very well. And those are very, very small losses. And this is a gain of, I think, about over 100% on the options. So another one that I was looking at was RGR, and that one didn't follow through as well. So we just have to kind of see how this thing goes. Follow through as well. That was one I was looking at, but I didn't want to. Again, I didn't want to put any more positions on because I didn't like the way the indexes were looking regarding the lack of follow through from the bullish engulfing patterns that we had, and it was a lot of different places. So just be aware of that. And we'll kind of see if the sector, if we have any rolling of money in and out. Again, another person asked me for First Solar, and that one didn't follow through again. It broke out above, so if you're aggressive, you got in here. But if you were looking for something follow through, maybe it gives you another, a little pullback and gives you a nice candle because the selling volume is very weak. I see that NQ is actually on a lot of people's list. We kind of got to see what is going on here because it recaptured the 50. It had that huge sell-off, but you could see, that's a huge sell-off here. So if I even looked at the Fibonacci retracements starting from here all the way down, the 50% level is right here, so at 1650. I basically have the 50 days, so it needs to close above that for me to start looking at this one and going from there. So we'll see what's going on. I'm a little bit, I wanted to kind of look at these names and let people know as well that you don't have to trade. If you feel like you don't have the consistency regarding the trend, you could pull the throttle back and there'll be times to make hay either to the upside or downside. But when you're not getting a follow through, you don't really want to put as many positions as you feel comfortable with. Usually when you have a trend and you're looking to go forward. So again, we'll see how this one turns out. But I had a little bit of caution going into today because I did have a lot of names that I was looking at, but they didn't have the follow through. So I'm glad that I didn't really put too much on. So again, I hope you're trading well. If you have a comment, please leave it below. Subscribe. Stocktwits, I did put out the watch list for lunchtime. So it's not really a watch list, just watch list ads that I see throughout the day that might be, at the end of the day, might be some good candidates. So check those out on Twitter. My handle is in the subject bar below and the comments bar below. So we'll see how that goes. But trade them well. Take care.